Hey guys, it's Sajid Dan here, back again for a new video for you guys, and today I'm back with a different kind of video. It's basically like a double part video, and that's because I'm in this unique space which I've really never been in before, where I've received the Lim Edition, and I've also already played and experienced the game itself, and that doesn't happen too much. So what I figured we could do is do a two-part video with an unboxing in the first part, where we're going to go through this Lim Edition, check out all the contents, and then the second part of this video we're going to review the game and actually take a closer look at the game. Okay, so let's delve into the unboxing part of this video. Today we're going to be unboxing the Lim Edition for Amnesia Memories, another Idea Factory online store exclusive Lim Edition. And this is an interesting Lim Edition. We'll get into why that is in a bit. But Amnesia Memories, if you don't know what it is, it's basically a visual novel Atomi, available digitally only through Steam and PSN. So we're going to be delving into Lim Edition for this. So without further ado, let's jump into the unboxing for Amnesia Memories Lim Edition. Okay guys, so here we are with the actual unboxing for the Amnesia Memories Lim Edition. As mentioned before, this set was available exclusively through Idea Factory's online web store. And like I mentioned before, this is kind of an interesting set because I've never seen anything quite like this done before. But essentially, this Lim Edition has no physical copy of the game. And I know that might seem kind of weird, and I'll admit it was kind of weird for me when I heard that Idea Factory was coming out with a Lim Edition for this. But like I mentioned before, the game's available digitally only through PSN and Steam. So I guess it's kind of cool because at least there's some physical item for the game, and I'm always down with physical goodies. So essentially this Lim Edition is like a big old box of goodies, and we're going to go through it. So let's delve into the unboxing. Okay, as you can see, we have the box in front of us, and it's pretty similar to a lot of the other Idea Factory Lim Editions they've done. It's a big box, so let's take a closer look at the box itself and some of the gorgeous artwork. Okay, so here we have a closer look at the front cover art of this Lim Edition, which has absolutely gorgeous art. I love this cover art. We have the logo there. We have one of the main characters, Shin. And then towards the top we have the female main protagonist. On the bottom it just says Amnesia Memories and basically just has the logo on all four sides of the box. And on the back of the box itself we have nothing overly special, but it does list the contents included and has this like checkerboard pattern. So let's start going through the contents. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop the top off this Lim Edition. Like I mentioned before, this set is very similar in its build to a lot of the other Idea Factory store Lim Editions. So this is essentially just a slip top, comes off, you put that off to the side, and then we have a shot of all the contents included and how it comes packaged. So let's start going through the contents. Okay, and one of the first items we have in this set, believe it or not, and this may be a first for a Lim Edition, we actually have a set of coasters here. Yep, you know, coasters, those things you put your drinks on. So let's check out these coasters. I never thought I'd say that for a Lim Edition. Okay, and here we have the set of 5 coasters. They have a nice soft, kind of flat matte finish. And I guess it's probably pretty good at absorbing water. And then on the back of them, of course, we have a like cork finish to kind of keep it from like sliding around on top of the surface. And basically with the set of 5, we have all the main characters. So we have Kent here, we have Toma, we have Ikki, we have Shin, and lastly we have Ukyo. So there's a set of 5 coasters, that way you can put your favorite beverage, I guess, on top of your favorite character. So there's a set of coasters. Okay, so on the next layer of the Lim Edition, we have the soundtrack in front of us, so let's take a closer look at the soundtrack. Okay guys, so here we have a closer look at the Amnesia Memories soundtrack. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the cover art for the soundtrack. So here we have a closer look at the soundtrack. We have the logo there. Then it has all the main characters. And here we have a shot at the back of the soundtrack. On the side it just says Amnesia Memories soundtrack. And here we have a shot at the soundtrack when we open it up, and this is how it looks. Here we have a closer look at the track listings, and it looks like we have 19 tracks total. And here we have a closer look at the soundtrack itself with some really gorgeous artwork. And this is one of the main items I actually really wanted from this Lim Edition, because Amnesia Memories actually features a pretty good soundtrack, which I really enjoyed. Okay, and on the next layer of the Lim Edition, we have the Amnesia Memories art book. I'm pretty excited to check this out because the game offers some really pretty art, so let's check it out. Here we have a closer look at the cover of the art book. Nothing too special. It's a really simple cover. Just says Amnesia Memories art book. And on the back we just have the company logos. And when we open up the art book, we have a table of contents. And in the beginning of the art book, we have some really gorgeous illustrations. I really love this piece of art. Here's another illustration with Shin. There's a couple more illustrations, including the one they used for the soundtrack CD. And then past the illustrations is basically like a character art book. It talks about all the characters, has a little write-up and some portraits and like an event CG. So there's Shin, here's Ikki, here's Kent, here's Toma, and lastly we have Ukyo. And in the middle of the art book is basically rough drafts, which is pretty cool to see. It's always cool to see early designs of a character. And this is actually kind of cool to see. Instead of having like the final renderings of the event CGs, they actually have the early beginnings of the event CGs, like the early sketches. So that's actually really cool to see. And then towards the back of the art book we have various background CGs in black and white. And that's pretty much the gist of the art book. And the final item we have in this set is a body pillowcase. Oh, Idea Factory, you and your body pillowcases. So let's check out the body pillowcase. And here we have a shot at the body pillowcase, which is 100% polyester. And unfortunately body pillowcases are kind of hard to show because they're so big and so large. So I'm going to go ahead and insert an image of the full artwork here so you can get a shot at the full body pillowcase. So there's the body pillowcase for you guys. Okay guys, and there you have it. This will do it for my unboxing part of this video where we took a look at the Amnesia Memories Limited Edition. As you can see, we have all the contents in front of us. We have this big gorgeous box with really beautiful cover art. We have a set of 5 coasters, that way you can put your favorite beverage on your favorite character. We have a big body pillowcase. We have a soundtrack CD. The game actually has a really great soundtrack, which I really liked. And we have a really nice art book with some of the really gorgeous artwork from the game. So as mentioned before, this set was available through Iffy's online store. And let's go ahead and move on to the review part of Amnesia Memories. Now moving on to the review part of this video, we'll be taking a closer look at Amnesia Memories itself. As mentioned before, Amnesia Memories is a visual novel Otome as developed by Idea Factory along with Design Factory and Otome. I would like to thank Idea Factory for supplying me with a code for Amnesia Memories. And without further ado, let's delve into the review for Amnesia Memories. You know, I was wondering when I would ever get around to covering an Otome game on my channel. If you are not familiar with Otome games, they literally translate to girl game. Otome is a subgenre of the larger umbrella genre of visual novels. Otome games are often geared towards the female market and feature a female main protagonist as she develops romantic relationships with the various male characters. Now I have to preface this review by saying even though this is a visual novel, Otome games on the other hand are not for everyone. You have to really ask yourself if you are comfortable experiencing a story and romance from a different perspective than what you may be used to. I personally don't mind experiencing these types of visual novels. Different perspectives are quite refreshing after all. Amnesia is actually a series which began on the PSP and featured some fan discs and other versions along the way, and it even had an anime adaptation. Amnesia Memories begins with the adorable brunette main protagonist awakening on August 1st with no real recollection of herself. Her memories are gone and she has no idea what her life was like or what kind of relationships she had to various characters or even her romantic involvement with certain characters. She has about 1 month to try and regain her memories by talking to various people and visiting certain places. There are 5 main routes to choose from for each of the main romantic interests. Now what I thought was actually really interesting with Amnesia Memories is how they handle the routes. In many visual novels that feature various character routes, the main core of the story will remain the same, and getting a certain character's ending is a matter of responding to choices in ways that favor that character. Amnesia does something very different. Basically in the beginning of the game you will have to make a choice on which world you would like to return to, and this will ultimately determine the character route you will proceed with. Each of these worlds is like its own standalone story and completely different from one another. This means Amnesia Memories is kind of like 5 different smaller stories in one, and each character route is its own unique story. Since each world is different, you may see similar characters you are familiar with from various playthroughs, but in one world they may act differently, have a different job, and have different relations to you as the main character. The game does feature many various endings ranging from good, normal, normal and bad endings for each of the respective characters. The ending you get is ultimately determined by these parameters, which change depending on how you respond to various questions and choices throughout the story. The three parameters to take into account are affection, trust, and suspicion. Now I thought this was kind of interesting as well. In order to get a good ending, you'll want your affection rate high, that's kind of a given, and trust is exactly what it sounds like. Suspicion refers to how suspicious the respective main character is of your actions. Because remember, you have amnesia, so you don't know exactly how to respond to the various characters, and if you say stuff that's out of the norm from how said character is used to hearing you respond, then that may elicit suspicion. You don't want the characters suspicious because you're trying to hide the fact that you have amnesia out of fear of being taken advantage of. If your suspicion level is high, that will increase your odds of getting a bad ending, factoring in of course that you don't build much trust or affection as well. This was pretty enjoyable for me, trying to factor in these parameters and learning how to respond to each character. Now moving back to the story itself, being an Atomia obviously has a strong emphasis on romance and romantic drama. You won't get some epic and intense tale here, but instead you will get a more grounded in reality, slice of life type stories. I personally thought Shin's story was one of the most interesting, as it featured an intriguing love triangle and this crime mystery involving a bad accident with the main character. Each story is rather short, around 5 hours to read, give or take, but remember there are 5 stories to experience, so there's a nice amount of content as a whole. The characters were varied from one another, but some were more interesting to me than others. Speaking of characters, another main character you'll see a lot is Orion. Orion is a spirit you meet at the beginning of the game, and you can see him but others cannot. Orion is trapped within your mind, so to speak, and in order to get out, he needs you to regain your memories. He kind of acts like that voice in your head type of character. He will butt in a lot, and I mean a lot, to make some dry, witty remarks which often fell flat for me, or he would just repeat and reiterate stuff that's been said, and he makes connections here and there for you as if you wouldn't have been able to put 2 and 2 together yourself. I understand his purpose and what they try to use him for within the narrative structure, but for me I just really didn't care for him and think they could have flushed him out more as a character, especially since he's such a predominant character with his close attachment to the main character. Thankfully, as the story progresses, you will notice Orion less and less, and you sort of get used to him, I guess. But everything else aside, I still enjoyed the grounded romantic drama I got from these various stories. I'm a sucker for slice of life and romantic drama after all. Also, the game features an air hockey and rock paper scissors mini games because why not? These are offered as quick little distractions, and these are okay, but I prefer the rock paper scissors mini game if I had to choose one. Moving on to presentation, the overall art design is actually really great. Amnesia Memories features really nice and vibrant character portraits and colorful yet subdued backgrounds which really make the characters pop. Characters often will have very varied and often exaggerated facial expressions and adorn very elaborate and maybe a tad bit gaudy outfits. There are many nice simple transitional animations for time of day changes and implied movement throughout. Even the detail of characters blinking, which is something you don't see too much in the genre, is a nice little human-like touch. Also, this doesn't happen much throughout the game, but I thought this was brilliant and worth noting from a design aspect. The game actually has character portraits from the back of the characters and uses this in certain situations to imply this sense of space between characters, and I thought this was a brilliant way to convey and show 2 characters engaging with one another that felt a little bit more authentic other than your standard side-by-side style of the genre. Moving on to music, Amnesia Memories features a pretty solid soundtrack which I actually really enjoyed. From the OST, you will get some nice, calm, relaxing background tunes to beautifully sad, emotional tunes to a catchy intro theme. To conclude my thoughts on Amnesia Memories, it's not for all visual novel fans. It offers multiple short stories that are heavily grounded in mystery and romantic drama, with some stories, routes, and characters that are stronger than others. Additionally, the role reversal of Atomi games simply might not appeal to everyone, but for fans of Atomi games in particular, I think you will find a genuine Atomi here with lots to enjoy. And this will conclude my double-part video on Amnesia Memories. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, please take it easy guys. Bye guys.